Hey, what's up, everybody? Wanting to do kind of a quick recap of the Indian Creek tournament. It was this past Saturday, just a couple of days ago. First event of the year. It was really nice to just fish again. Honestly, I've been on the water a good bit. I mean, not tournament fishing. Like I said, I think in the previous video, the last tournament that I fished was in August. So that's a long stretch, man. That's a really long stretch for me. I would say in 8 years, 7, 8 years, that's the longest I've been without fishing in a tournament. So it did feel great to get on the water. I'm thawed out. Everything's cool. I had a great time. Didn't get a fish on the board. That was, half the field. It was just a brutal day. You know, as bad as the forecast was, it wasn't quite as bad as I thought it was going to be. The only thing that kind of gave me trouble were, keeping the hands warm, which that's always seems to be my biggest issue in cold weather. Stuck to the game plan. If I had it to do again, I don't think I really would have done anything different. It just did not come together, and it's one of those, you want to take away a lesson from each event, whether it be good or whether it be bad. And a lot of times you learn more from the bad ones than you do the good ones, where everything just seems to click and you don't even know why. It's just great. Saturday was not one of those days. Started off, and I just really wanted to pick apart one area of the lake where I really feel like better quality fish live. And man, it's so weird. With grass fisheries, they change. I mean, every time I see the same area, it fishes totally different. The watercolor's different here than it was, and it's just the grass changes. Everything was different, right? Which is cool, which is okay. That just means you've got to, you're not gonna, try to make the same cast that you made 3 months ago and expect to get bit doing it. So I did get a couple of bites on the day. Neither one came in the boat. I hooked each fish, and they were both really nice in that 17, 18-inch range. The first one was around 1 o'clock when I really just had to get out of the wind for a little bit and warm up. I pulled in. There was one little protected cove. I saw some slick water across that big open bay. I was like, man, I'm going to paddle over there and just kind of get in the sun for a minute and warm up. I ate my lunch, and I started looking in the back of the cove, and I've never caught a fish in this cove. I fished it pretty much every time that I've been to Indian Creek. And I was like, man, it just looks good back there, so I'm going to go try it. So there were a few stumps in the back and about 3 to 5 feet of water, I guess. And the water there was a little more stained than the stuff that I'd seen earlier in the day, which is, pretty close to crystal clear. You could see the bottom in 7 or 8 feet, in most of the areas that I was. But a little bit dirtier water in that pocket. And I slow rolled a jackhammer on the third or fourth cast after I ate lunch. Rolled a jackhammer by a stump, and boom, just got slack lined. I got a good hook in the fish, kind of got it beside the boat, shook a couple times, and it was just skin hooked, and the hook, fell out. So that was my first bite at 1 o'clock. Shook it off pretty easily. I was like, all right, well, maybe I found some fish. About 5 minutes later, I'm doing the same thing, rolling a jackhammer around some of those shallow stumps, and boom, another one nails it. Set the hook on that one, about the same size, 17, maybe 16, 7.5, 17. Wraps around the stump, and I can see it hung and just shaking its head, and I can see the jackhammer hanging out the side. I was like, this may not end well. So as I'm pulling myself over to the stump to grab it by hand, it just shakes off. And those were the only 2 bites I got. A little bit after 1 o'clock, and they each came within 10 minutes. And those 2 bites would have had me sitting pretty decent on the leaderboard with as tough as things were. But all in all, it was great to just participate again. Huge congratulations to everybody who caught fish in that event. Clint, fantastic job getting those keepers on the board, man. That was such a it's so easy to think that you have to do too much before an event, and I think maybe that's what I was thinking. I really want to find bigger fish. If I maybe just would have concentrated a little bit more on just getting some bites, I may have had a better event. So yeah, I think that would have been a good approach to that tournament, is not try to do too much, and not try to catch more than I thought would be reasonable to have a good event. Good news is another one coming up in February. I'm gonna try to fish the Swamp Country event. fish the BAM event. I think immediately after that, I think it's the next weekend. Swamp Country is going to be down in the marsh. It's going to be the St. Bernard Parish deal, which is a really cool concept. Really happy that that club did that. That's just going to be a fun tournament. And then BAM is back on, right down the road from me at Falls River, February 24th, I believe is when it is. And then after that, thinking about fishing a tournament on March 9th. Not positive, but I'm gonna try to see if I can swing it. Hope everybody who fished had a good time. Hope everybody who didn't fish had fun following the leaderboard. I'm sure it was may have been a little slow, to watch. Not a not a whole lot of giants being caught. But man, those some of my favorite tournaments that I've ever fished have not been big limit tournaments. Anyway, hope to see you guys on the water at some point. Just wanted, like I said, wanted to do a quick recap, and still pumped up for the season. Really am. Take it easy.